what the black man and woman needs to know about the nation, about the world, about themselves. Muhammad Speaks It. To order your 12-issue subscription to Muhammad Speaks newspaper, 313-371-7033. 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie is the grand champion of all bean pies. The rich flavor and smooth texture takes this pie to a whole new level of delicious. One bite and you'll understand why people all over the country call daily to order Kareem Bean Pie. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie.
This bean pie is delicious.
Muhammad Speaks presents Messenger Elijah Muhammad's Teachings by Minister Khalil Shabazz every Sunday from 2 to 3 p.m. at Muhammad's Temple of Islam, 12609 East McNichols Road in Detroit.
Brothers and sisters, we rise for prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Soul Masters, dear judgment in which we now live. The alone do we serve, and the alone seek for thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path, path of those upon whom thou wilt spell thy favors, not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray after they heard thy teachings. Say he, Allah is one God. Allah is he of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, there is none like him. And I bear witness that none is heard to be served, worship, or praise besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, thy true servant and last apostle. Ameen. We'd like to acknowledge the brothers and sisters who sent us the greetings of Assalamu alaikum. We have Brother Muta Kabir Ali of New Jersey. We have Captain Hakeem and the believers in Richmond. And we have Abdul Hassan from Virginia. I'd like to say in the name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, and in the name of his last and greatest messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, I'd like to greet the brothers and sisters with the Nation of Islam's greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. Today we like to talk about America is Falling. This was an article that was written by the Washington Post. It says, biblical devastation in North Carolina towns flooded by Helen. Now, it says biblical devastation. Now, what we need to know when we look at that title is what they say when they say a word to the wise is sufficient. What does that mean? It means intelligent people can take hints. They don't need to have everything explained to them at a great length. So when the white man is saying biblical devastation, what is he saying? A word to the wise is sufficient. Because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we always got to start with the messenger. This comes from the September 22nd, 1956 Pittsburgh Carrier. And it's called, Come Out of Her, the Great is Falling. The messenger says, the Revelator saw in Revelations 18:1, an angel come from heaven, or from the Holy Land, having great power, and the earth, or the so-called Negroes, was enlightened with his glory, wisdom, knowledge of the truth. This angel can be no other than Master W.F. Muhammad, the great Mahdi, who came from the holy city Mecca, Arabia in 1930. That's the messenger. He always starts with Master Farad Muhammad. This is the picture that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us and told us this is God in person. So he said that in the revelator. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that the white man says the revelator is John. But the messenger taught us that the revelator is Yaqub.
That's right.
He taught us that Yaqub saw the end of the white race on the island of Pelan called Patmos in the Bible.
That's right.
So he told us that in Revelations 18, he says the revelator saw an angel from heaven. Where is heaven? The messenger says the Holy Land. That's where heaven is. Then he goes on to say, having great power, and the earth, meaning the so-called Negroes, was enlightened with his glory, means wisdom, knowledge of the truth. That's where we got to start. Because now that Master Farad Muhammad has come and raised up a messenger, everybody know like they just know what's going on in this day and time. Everybody know that this is the fall of America. And this is why it is so important for us to show the black man where it comes from. Because the messenger didn't just tell us that we should tell the black man the truth. When he was talking to his ministers, he said, tell the people where you got it from. He said, don't make the people think you got it from yourself. So that's the main reason why every time you see me, I'm bringing what the messenger said. Because I don't want nobody to think I got it from myself. Not only do I not want people to think that I got it from myself, I want everybody to know where it came from. I want them to know how long the messenger had been saying this all by himself. Yes. Because in 1956, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was by himself teaching us about the fall of America. This was before integration. Because Martin Luther King started the bus boycott in 1955. When you look at Eyes on the Prize and they talk about the bus boycott, they didn't think that that was going to work. They were surprised at how successful the bus boycott really turned out to be. They didn't think that black people was going to stick together that long and stop riding the buses. So the messenger was telling us about the fall of America in the beginning of us trying to integrate with America. This is what we need to know. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad not only taught us about the fall of America, he explained to us what the revelator saw. The revelator saw from the Bible, which was written by the white man to hide the truth from the black man. So it says an angel. When the black man thinks about an angel, he thinks about a creature with wings. So the messenger told us when it's talking about an angel, it's talking about God in person. Yes. He saw God in person come. That's the angel. Then it says the angel had great power and the earth. The white man wrote the earth when it meant people. So the messenger told us that earth means the so-called American Negro. Yes, sir. So it says the earth was enlightened with his glory, meaning his wisdom, knowledge, and truth, of the truth. This is Master Farad Muhammad. So this is why we know and can understand this biblical devastation that's happening to the white race. Because an angel came. An angel came from heaven. July 4th, 1930. Messenger said God came from the holy city of Mecca, Arabia by himself to black bottom Detroit, seeking to save that which is lost. That's none other than the so-called American Negro. We are the ones who are lost. So the messenger goes on. He says this angel can be no other than Master W.F. Muhammad, the great Mahdi, who came from the holy city Mecca, Arabia in 1930. He is the most wise and powerful being on earth, or ever will be, God in person. He who with a strong voice announced the immediate doom of America. He said that there was no punishment great enough to repay the slave masters for their evil done against the so-called Negroes of America. He also said that the country is filled with devils and every kind of evil. His voice was strong and mighty, and to everyone who believed and accepted the true religion, Islam, he gave them a holy name of Allah's. Every word that he said is true. He came for the salvation of the so-called Negroes, warning them to join on to their own kind, the Nation of Islam. So the messenger said, this man who he taught us, name is W.F. Muhammad, is the wisest and most powerful being on earth. Then he said that ever would be. This is Master Farad Muhammad, that angel. That angel that Yaqub saw. He saw him bringing a knowledge to the black man. That knowledge that he brought to the black man is our salvation. The messenger said that Master Farad Muhammad said that there is no way that you can repay the white man back for the evils that he has done to the black man. So he tells us to accept our own and be ourselves and join on to our own kind. So the messenger goes on. Because in the book of Revelations, chapter 18, 1 and 4, let's just read what it says without the messenger's interpretation. It says, and after these things, I saw an angel come down from heaven having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen and is become the habitation of devils, and the hole of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. How will we know what this meant if it wasn't for that angel? How would we know? The white man don't say America, he say Babylon is fallen. Babylon done already fell. Right. What country is called Babylon today? We don't know. Then he goes on to say that this Babylon has become a habitation of devils, and a hole of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. What's that talking about? First he used the name Babylon. He say Babylon fall. Then he say it became a habitation of devils. We think the devil under the ground. Then it said it became a hole or a cage of every unclean spirit and foul bird. What is that talking about? Then it says, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. Who is God's people? Because before the messenger, God's people was the white Jew. So if the Bible is talking about Babylon is fall, then God is telling his people to come out of her. What black man would think that's talking about him? When we thought before the messenger that God's chosen people was the Jews. Black people didn't think nothing of themselves to think that God would tell them, you my people, and come out of her because you really righteous. You really righteous by nature. You not guilty of no crime. So God want his people, you come up out of her. It's your choice. It's up to you to choose because it's unfouled or unclean birds that's in this place. It's a habitation of devils. How would we know what that was if it wasn't for the messenger? Let's go where the messenger breaks it all the way down. Now we can go to the December 4th, 1964, Muhammad speaks. It says, Messenger Muhammad says, America is false. This the messenger. He says the picture shows the cause of her fall. Number one, she had become the habitation of devils, and being the habitation of devils makes her a haven for every people that love the works and doings of the devil. Here the prophet refers to them symbolically as being a hole of every foul spirit and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. People are referred to as birds, snakes, beasts, fish, and other animals to tell or represent the characteristics of that person. That's the messenger. He the one taught us. All praise is due to Allah. And this is why we like to bring these articles where he wrote it directly to the black man. Yes. So we can show everybody where it came from. Because that's one of the most important things that we can do as believers. Is to tell the black man where we get it from. Yes. I heard one time the message, I don't remember if this was in a Muhammad Speaks newspaper, an interview, or a lecture. He was saying something to the effect, if you just tell your children that this is Allah and I'm the messenger, that's just good enough. Yes. Just to tell them that's Allah, he the messenger of Allah. Just to tell them that much. Because we are in a trying time. Yes. It's very few believers. We got many hypocrites. Yes. And disbelievers. Yes. Because while we talking about the devil, which is America has become the habitation of devils, we also got to talk about the hypocrites. We also got to talk about the disbelievers. Because they are part of this too. Messenger explained them to us. Yes. Because the believers are surrounded by. That's right. The devil. We surrounded by hypocrites. And we surrounded by disbelievers. So the best thing we could do while we surrounded is to tell people where we got it from. Yes. That's the best thing we can do. So the messenger. In the December 4th, 1964, Muhammad speaks, he taught us that when they talking about a cage of every foul spirit and of every hateful bird, he said that's telling the characteristics of the person. He says it is universally known that the very beginning of the American people was from the lower class of European people. And their first ruler, President Washington, was a fugitive from England. And the common, dissatisfied, and low grade of European people followed and boosted his authority. This filled and inhabited America with a very low class and low base people. That's what the messenger taught. Long before niggas like bus stop, we always got to throw that nigga in it. Long before this line, nigga. Because I've been watching them this week. These niggas take every advantage every time something big happened in the news to get out before the black man and act like we just know. This is the end of America, the fall of America. Look what's happening in North Carolina with the hurricane. But in the Muhammad Speaks newspaper, in the Pittsburgh Carrier, the messenger was the one who explained it to us step by step. He told us that God came. Because the messenger also told us where he got it from. He told us who that angel was. That angel was Master Farad Muhammad. Yes, sir. And it's his wisdom, his understanding of the truth that he gave to us. Mm-hmm. That's why we know that cage of every unfouled spirit or every foul spirit and every hateful bird, that's talking about the characteristics of the people who was in America. Mm-hmm. So the messenger goes on. He said, and then this type of people went into Africa and purchased slaves from among our people who are also uneducated, most of them. But there were a few who were highly educated. All of these began to mix with the low-based, evil-minded, real citizens of the Western Hemisphere, the whites. And when America began to get strong in power, she opened her doors to the underprivileged laborers in overpopulated countries such as China, Japan, and other European states to seek citizenship in America. This brought America into one of the most mixed people who were granted the freedom to live any kind of life they chose. They were not forced to serve the God of the universe, who made heaven and earth, nor any religion. They had freedom of worship. This made America a haven for any people who wished to be free of the compliments of religious and just rule and authority. This people, for the past 500 years, has put into practice every evil that is imaginable. That's the messenger. Telling it to us all by himself. When the messenger came out with the fall, America is fall, where was niggas like bus stop? Right. Because what we do today, when we had these disbelievers, the messenger told the Muslims, he said, tell them where you got it from.
Enjoying the show? Help keep us on the air. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033 to make a donation.
Then after he told them to tell them where he got it from, he told us to use the scripture and use all that we could to prove his position. That's right. He didn't just say, just tell them, no, when you out there with these people, niggas like bus stop, we supposed to be proving the messenger's position. Right. The messenger's position is God came from the holy city of Mecca, 1930. His name is W.F. Muhammad. He is the one who announced with a loud, because the Bible is talking about what Master Farad Muhammad did. Mm-hmm. In the verse, let's go back to the verse. It says, and after these things I saw an angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. It ain't talking about something that he saw that wasn't something that was happening. That's what we get confused when we talking about revelations. John the Revelator saw what God did. He didn't see some spook or some spirit. He said he saw this angel coming from heaven. It says, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. It said, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fall. Yes. This what Yaqub saw Master to tell the black man that the Bible was written by Israelites for Israelites. Yaqub said he saw God come. So that's when God comes to raise a messenger, to teach that messenger to teach us. Yeah. He wasn't coming telling us nothing spooky. He wasn't coming telling us the spookism behind. He was coming and telling us what he saw. We got to remember that. Everything in Revelations is what Yaqub saw happening today. So if you got niggas like Bus Stop out trying to teach who is that angel? When did the angel come? What year did he speak with a loud voice, saying that Babylon the great is fallen? When did he come with great power and his wisdom and understanding affected the black man? That's the question that we need to ask all the fakes. Because the messenger goes on. He says the freedom of uncleanliness is granted and is worshipped. The percentage of sexual worship of the same sex is greater than any government on the face of the earth. Little children are being taught sex almost from the cradle, making the whole nation, as one man put it, nearly 90% freaks of nature.
Ooh, that is right on point.
This is what the messenger said in 64. He was saying it since 1931. He said in 1964 that 90% was freaks of nature. I can't say 100% now because we here. But it's pushing 100% today.
Yes, sir.
If in 1964, because 1964 black man was an angel compared to the 2024 black man.
Yes, yes.
But the messenger breaking the white man down in such a way, you would think, why would Dr. King them be trying to integrate with a people like that? It's because they didn't know. Why didn't we have black Hebrew Israelites in 1964? The white man was still just as filthy, just as indecent. America was falling. The messenger said since 1914. So if ain't nothing changed, so why is it now you have so many people acting like you know that America is falling? It's because of the message. Let's go on with the message. He said it is common to see on the streets of any metropolitan city of America men sweethearting with men and women sweethearting with women, little boys with boys and little girls with girls. In 1964, he's saying, nah, the way they present, because I wasn't born in 64. But the way the people present 1964 to us, they don't present it in this same kind of language. They talk about 1964 like the black man was a little bit better. But the way the messenger talking, he talking like he lived in 1924 with us, or 2024. He sound like he writing about what's going on today.
Right.
But he been saying this since 1931. Praise due to Allah. When the black man talk about the 60s, they don't talk about how it was just so common to see little boys with little boys. But the messenger was talking like that.
Yes.
Because he was affected by the wisdom of that angel.
That's right.
He is the one who spoke with great authority. He saw the white man. He was the one who pulled the covers off the white man.
That's right.
So the messenger saw him as he is. He didn't see a little bit of the devil as he started being more showing himself. He saw when Master Farad Muhammad just snatched them covers off to death.
Right.
So the messenger was talking to us, just like how he would be talking to us today.
Yes.
So the messenger goes on. He says it is common that a decent family, he said it is so common that a decent family is puzzled as to where to send their children for school. There are no all-girls schools as there once were. They are all-girls schools of sweethearts, the same sex falling upon their own. Boys' colleges are breeding such filthy practices. The jailhouses, prisons, and federal penitentiaries are all breeding dens of homosexuality or homosexuals. As the prophet says in the 18th chapter, she is a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. There are types of hateful birds. This is why a symbolic name is given. It means human beings. There are birds of prey and birds that are unclean, such as crows, owls, buzzards, and ravens, who live and thrive off the carcass of others. And there are unclean people living and thriving off the unclean. That's the message. Breaking it down step by step. Because he already broke it down just by telling us that this cage of birds is talking about the characteristics of people. But he gone even further to explain to us these characteristics of these people. He said you got some birds that live and thrive off the carcass of others. And you have some people who live and thrive off the unclean. That's the white race.
Yes.
That's what the messenger saw in 1931.
Yes.
Back when we were saying he taught hate. He talking about the white man like he living in 2024.
That's right.
1964 was, well, I'm not going to say it wasn't. The appearance of it wasn't as bad as, it's all open now. That's why the messenger, when he talked about Master Farad Muhammad, he said he spoke with authority.
Yes.
He talked about when he listened, I listened to Malcolm X. It's called The Trials of Elijah Muhammad. He was saying that when the messenger was telling them about Master Farad Muhammad, and when he first saw Master Farad Muhammad in 1931, he said he spoke like he was right there with Moses. He said he didn't speak like he was somebody who was just telling us about Moses. He said the messenger told them Master Farad Muhammad sounded like he was right there with Moses. That's what the messenger said. He sounded like he was right there with Abraham. He didn't sound like somebody who was just coming telling us something he heard. He sounded like he was there with him. That's why when the messenger taught us, he taught us right to our very time right now. He said that Master Farad Muhammad pulled the covers off the white man. So he told us the white man from his core. When we couldn't even see it. We were still trying to integrate with the devil. We were still trying to turn the other cheek. We thought it was just one more thing we ain't tried to do for the devil. If we just turn the other cheek, if we just let him spit on us, if we just try to integrate with him, everything would be all right. But the messenger, he said they have been made manifest, that they are a race of devils.
Yes.
He said a cage of every foul spirit and unclean bird. That's talking about the whole white race.
That's right.
So the messenger goes on. He says it is time that God intervenes to bring about an end of such people as the wicked of America. Once again, it's time for God to intervene. That's why when you believe in the teachings of the messenger, you speak against niggas like Bus Stop. Because he is interfering with God's work. We're going to talk a little bit more about that a little later. Let's keep on going. The messenger says, it is time that God intervenes to bring about an end of such people as the wicked of America. She offers the same filth to all of the civilized of the earth. And she hates you if you are against her way of life, and will threaten you with death as the Sodomites did Lot and his followers. But I say to you, as the fourth verse of chapter 18 says, you that want to be better people than this, come out of her. The so-called American Negroes are referred to here in the fourth verse as being God's people, my people. Come out of her, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. This is a call to the American so-called Negroes to give up a doomed, wicked people that has destroyed them from being a people worthy of recognition, and who has now become lovers of their enemies and destroyers. So this was the message, telling us that this whole chapter is a call for us. God came to give us a change.
Yes.
And this is what the Revelator saw. He saw God coming, speaking with a loud voice, crying out with authority, telling us to come out of her, letting us know we Muslims by nature.
Yes.
That was something we didn't know. Because some of us thought we was good, but you look at other black people and look at them like, them niggas is bad though. Some of us feel like we understand why the white man hates you niggas, because you act like niggas. We don't know until the messenger that we righteous by nature.
Yes.
We didn't know until the messenger that every time you look into the face of a black man, you looking at God.
Right.
We didn't know that until him. So when God is telling us to come out of her, after the messenger, you see why God wants us to come out. Because the black man is a Muslim by nature. The black man submits to Allah's will by nature. But the white race is 100% wicked and evil.
That's him.
Ain't no way to save them. We learn this from the messenger. Messenger taught us. He said that the white race was made to be destroyed. We didn't know that before the messenger. God comes to do with the white race what they had planned to do to him 6,600 years ago. They always planned to destroy the devil. 600 years before the white man was made. Because the messenger said that Yaqub is the one who saw the end of the white race. Yaqub was on the island of Pelan, called Patmos in the Bible. Messenger said Yaqub only lived 150 years. So Yaqub never saw the devil, but he saw the end. Messenger taught us it took 200 years to go from a black race to the brown man. He said it took another 200 years to go from the brown to the yellow. Then another 200 years to go from the yellow to the white. That's 600 years. So 6,600 years ago, Yaqub saw the end of the white race.
Yes.
He saw their end before they was ever grafted. This is the teachings of the messenger. So the messenger goes on, because we can't just talk about the devil. I love talking about niggas. I can't leave a nigga out. Because we live in this new school stuff with this hypocrite Louis Eugene. He the old my black brother Muslim. Messenger taught us about niggas too. He taught us about the nigga that's in the temple. You gotta show respect to the nigga. You gotta treat him nice. But you got to watch the nigga.
Right.
You got to remember that. If you're a captain or a minister, you got to be watching the believers. You're not here just to be talking. Not only is you here to watch the believers, you here to be an example for the believer.
Right.
But that example you being for the believer is the example that the messenger set. Ain't nothing personal in Islam. It ain't personal. It's business.
Right.
If you get 30 days out the temple, it ain't personal. It's business. Because the messenger taught us about hypocrites. We got to talk about it. This comes from, this is the November 20th, 1964 Muhammad speaks. This the messenger telling us about the niggas who in the temple with us. It says, on the day when the hypocrites, men and women, will say to those who believe, wait for us, that we may borrow from your light. That's these hypocrites. That's what the Holy Quran say the hypocrites gonna say. They right there with you. They right there with you with they dogs. They with you going to karaoke. They with you with they lost found wives and they talking about they beliefs. But they go right out in the street to find a lost found. You got all these Muslim sisters that want a husband. But the brother want him a lost found. It's showing what's in his heart.
Right.
But you treat him nice. He your brother. You treat him with respect. As long as a person confess that Allah, Master Farad Muhammad is God, and Honorable Elijah Muhammad is his messenger, you treat him with respect. You don't call him no nigga. That's your brother. Yeah. But you watch him. Yeah. You see a nigga with a dog. You don't say, nigga, why you got a dog? No. You watch the nigga. You see a nigga talking about how much he loved the messenger, but he married a lost found sister that wear all kind of makeup, tight clothes, her body shown. You don't call the nigga a nigga, but you watch that nigga. Because every choice a nigga makes shows you what's in his heart.
That's right.
When I was in the military, always got to take it back to the white man. He told us, pay attention to detail. It ain't the big stuff a nigga gonna do. If we all gotta shine our shoes, and you always got this nigga don't shine his shoes, he ain't no. If we out in the battlefield and the enemy come, you think the nigga who don't shine his shoes gonna be defending your life? No. But hey, he our brother. You think the one who come in with his uniform wrinkled and dirty, you think if we in the battlefield and something happen, he about to protect you? No, he not. You look at the little things. But you always give a person time to correct them little things. That don't mean just because he don't shine his shoes today, he just worthless. Sometimes the brother that started out didn't shine his shoes become the best soldier. But that nigga who constantly act like it's a chore for him to shine his shoes. He act like it's a chore to be clean and neat. That's the one. A brother who got a dog or who going to karaoke. Why would you do that if you love the messenger?
Right.
Because the messenger said, on that day, when the hypocrites, men and women, will say to those who wait for us, that we may borrow from your light. They leeches. The hypocrite want to pull you down with them. He gonna talk about why he can't find him no Muslim sister.
Oh, Lord.
He gonna talk about how his dog is his friend. He gonna talk about how many lost files he can convert at karaoke. They gonna be trying to drag you down and convince you why they doing what you know they ain't supposed to be doing. That's why I say they gonna say to the belief, give me some of your light. If they take some of your light, then that mean they dimming your light.
Right.
That's the teachings of the message.
Yes.
So it goes on to say, it says, it will be said, turn back and seek a light. Then a wall with a door in it will be raised between them. Within it shall be mercy, and on the outside of it chastisement. That's the messenger. You choose what you choose. But the messenger said, it's going to be, because he didn't say like these hypocrites going to be somewhere distant. They going to be right around you, asking you for some of your life. Now, if you fool enough to give them some of your life, then you become like them. But the messenger said, it will be said, turn back and seek your own life. You ain't getting none of my life.
Right.
All my life is for me. If you want some life, the messenger give us all, go get you some life.
Right.
You shouldn't give nobody none of your life. What's that talking about? You going hard for the message. You know what the messenger taught. That's your life. You don't give your life to nobody. When you listen to Muslims say what they ain't supposed to be saying. That's why the messengers say we supposed to report all slackness. Report all slackness, evil, and wrongdoing. Something to that effect. You supposed to report.
Right.
You supposed to listen to how a brother speak against the minister. If you know the minister representing the messenger, why would you let another believer speak against that minister?
Right.
You supposed to report that like, brother, what you talking about?
Right.
If he talk against the lieutenant, if he talk against the captain, if he talk against the program, if he talk against the temple, when you give him some of your light you sympathizing with. Oh, well, you know, he is kind of this and that, and yeah, we need to do. No, brother. We represent the messenger. We doing the best we can do. So even if sometime you have shortcomings, you still shouldn't speak against the temple.
Right.
You still shouldn't speak against the minister or the captain when you know he doing the best he can do.
Right.
That's how you give these hypocrites some of your life.
That's right.
Because they going to be coming to you, trying to get you to see it like they see it.
Yeah.
No, we don't see it like you see it. Go get some of your own life.
That's right, brother.
Because the messenger said, it's going to be a door or a wall. It says, then a wall with a door in it will be raised between them. Within it shall be mercy and outside chastisement. It's going to come a time where the believer is going to be separate from the hypocrite. Inside it's going to be mercy. Because we ain't perfect. Allah know we ain't perfect.
Right.
But he know we doing our best.
That's right.
That's why he give us mercy. But with them hypocrites is chastised.
Yes.
How hard is it to stop going to karaoke? How hard is it to give up your dog and your pets? It ain't hard at all. But when that chastisement comes, they gonna say, oh, how I wish I would have went with the message.
That's right.
So it goes on to say, it says they will cry out to them, were we not with you? They will say, yea, but you caused yourself to fall into temptation. You caused yourself. That's what we got to remember with these here. You can't be feeling sorry. All that we do to ourselves.
That's right.
You can't let a hypocrite make you feel sorry. Oh, he was too gnarly. You did it to yourself.
That's right.
It says, they will say, yea, but you caused yourself to fall into temptation, and you waited in doubt, and vain desires deceived you, till the threatening punishment of Allah came, and the arch deceiver deceived you about Allah. It's a lot in that.
Yes, it is.
It says, but you ceased, but you caused yourself to fall in temptation. That's what they caused themselves. They out there not shaving. They out there with devils. They out there drinking and acting a fool. They caused themselves to go into temptation.
Yes.
Then it says, and you waited and doubted. What do it mean when you wait? The messenger tell us to do stuff. Say, I don't know. That's waiting. You waiting because you doubt. You really don't believe like you saying you believe, so you just, I don't know about that. Messenger taught us about getting married. He didn't want us marrying long. Now, if you a brother, your wife was a lost found before you accepted Islam. That's totally different.
That's right.
But if you a believer, and now you trying to choose a wife, and you choose a lost found, that's showing what's in your heart.
That's right.
You doubt.
That's right.
You said, I ain't gonna go all the way with the messenger like that, because you doubt. But when you believe, because I was a believer and was single for a long time. But every sister that I was talking to knew where I stood with the messenger. They knew how they had to stand with the messenger if they wanted to be with me. All of them. They knew exactly, like, look, you know, I remember one time, go down memory lane. I went to the movies with this sister. I ain't gonna lie, she was lost found. I wasn't gonna just cut her off of her thing. She wasn't cutting me off. We were still getting to know each other. So I said, look now, I'm gonna go to the movies with you. Muslims don't go to movies. I told her straight up. That's how I was doing, because I was like, I'm gonna slowly, if she wanna, this ain't what Muslims do. I go to this movie with you. We can go watch the movie or whatever you want to do, but Muslims don't go to, I ain't going to no more movies with you, okay? This is where I stand. Straight up. That's fair. She a lost found. She don't know the message. So I'm trying to introduce the message and introduce her to our way. We don't go to movies. We don't have Christmas trees. Sister, don't bring them to the temple. Like, look, when you come to the temple, you got to wear a long gown. No open-toe shoes, no makeup, all of that. Give them the rundown. This how it go. Before you decide to marry them. Because, of course, maybe you might meet a sister that might not just totally accept before you marry her, quote unquote. But she on her way to processing or something before you marry her. She should know if this marriage is going to last, you need to be a Muslim. That's what you need. That's when you go all the way with the message. But when you doubt, you don't want her to be turned off. So you don't tell them about the message. You marry him before you let him know you got to be a Muslim before we get married. That's doubt. Messages say, don't doubt me. He said, if you doubt me, then don't follow me.
That's what he said.
So that's why it says they doubt and they wait. That's what causes you to be on the other side with them. You doubt and you wait. You know what the messenger said, but you don't act on it. Then it goes on to say, it says, and vain desires deceive you. All this lost found stuff you like. Vain desire. I want to go out and do karaoke. Vain desire. You in the club with alcohol. You in club with socializing with Christians. That's vain desires. All this stuff causes us to become hypocrites. Messengers say it's a thin line.
That's right.
He said we can turn hypocrite overnight.
Yes, he did.
He said captains turn hypocrite. Ministers turn hypocrite.
Yes.
We got to remember that.
Yes.
That's why in the verses say you ain't supposed to give them none of your life. Once you know what the messenger said, you got to stand on. It can't be personal. You can't feel good, just like as the minister. I'm hated. When I first became a minister, I didn't know you would be hated like you hate. The more you say what the messenger said, the more they hate you.
That's right. Remember that.
They hate you when you bring what the messenger said.
Yes.
Who would think a Muslim would, when you bring what the messenger said? What Muslim would have a problem? But they hate you because they hate him.
Yes.
You got to remember that.
That's right.
However they feel about a believer is how they feel about the messenger.
That's right.
Because you only doing what the messenger told us all to do.
Yes.
And if they was doing it, they would love you. Like they say, it's lonely at the top. That's how I feel. Man, I know when I used to go into this Kroger's in this certain part of town. When I would see Farrakhan followers, I would be happy to see them dressed up in their uniform like, Salam alaikum. Even though I know they would, but just to see a Muslim, somebody looking like how I look, like Salam alaikum. Because you want to see somebody like you. You long to see a believer. But hypocrites hate the believers. They hate you because you believe. They hate you because you saying what the messenger said. But that's what the messenger said. Well, he taught us. It's going to come a time where it's going to be a wall put up. It's going to be mercy on the inside and chastisement on the outside. Now let's go to the disbelief. Because we got them too. This comes from the August 6, 1960 Westchester Observer. It says, seek refuge in Allah from the envier when he envies. The success of the messenger and his followers of Islam is envied by the disbelievers, and they are not leaving a stone unturned, trying to stop it with falsehood. Hurry and join unto your own kind. The time of this world is at hand. That's why as the minister, you gonna be hated. I done came to accept it. It'd be amazing how many people you see hate you as the weeks go by. Like, I ain't know this brother, I thought we was cool. But the more Islam you start talking, the more you see how they hate you. The more you see how you buy yourself. That's why back when I first got Muhammad Speaks newspapers, one of my most favorite articles is the Messenger's article called The Friendship of Allah. That's a soothing article. That's that article you read when you just, oh my God. The friendship of Allah. Messengers say Allah is our only friend. Only friend. That's the only friend. Allah raised up the messenger. So the messenger are our friend. All those who believe in the messenger is our friend too. But he say Allah is the best friend to have.
That's right.
He let us know, yeah. Allah raised the messenger. The messenger and Allah is one. The believers that believe in the messenger, they your friends too. But Allah is the best friend you can have. He ain't gonna let you down. Because when you really be going hard for the messenger, you realize how much you need it. You can't talk about hypocrites, disbelievers, and the devil without having Allah. Because the success of the messenger is envied by the disbeliever. And he said the disbeliever is not leaving one stone unturned and trying to hide the truth with falsehood. That's what you got to know. You got to fight the hypocrites. You got to fight the disbelievers. You got to watch the believers. Then you got to keep yourself straight. Doing all that you need, Allah. That's why I be wondering, how do people miss their prayer? Sometimes I do miss the time. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I might be sitting watching TV, be like, oh man. But it don't be no whole day. And no, it'd probably be 2 hours, an hour or 2 hours. I might look like, I done missed my prayer. But prayer constantly on your mind. Right. Messenger said prayer. We should constantly pray. Yes. Constantly be calling on Allah. Yes. Not only did he tell us to constantly, he said, believe he heard you. That was another thing that changed my belief. Because you usually think you just praying into the air. Just speaking into the wind. Messenger ain't teach us that. He taught us God's name. He taught us when he was born. He taught us the prayers to pray to him. And he taught us to say it like he listening to you. Believe he listening to you. Talk to him. Sometime if you got a prayer that you want to say that ain't in the message to the black, just go talk to him. Tell them how you feel.
Yes.
Tell them what you want. Go talk to them. Tell them. I talks to them.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes I'll be riding in the car talking to them. Like, oh, Allah. Sometimes them near-death experience happen. Like, thank you, Allah.
Yes.
Sometimes you be on the freeway, see an accident you just missed. Oh, praises due to Allah.
Yes.
Constantly got Allah on your mind. We got to remember that.
Teach.
Because we in the midst of hypocrites, disbelievers, and believers too. Because the believers sometimes get on your nerve.
Yes.
Sometimes believers is hard to deal with. But you do always have them good believers.
Yes.
It's them believers that you know is ride or die.
Yes.
I want to send a shout out because you know who you are. I ain't got to say your name, but you know if you a ride or die. We appreciate you.
Teach us.
Tell it. We love. We don't usually say nothing to you, just outwardly say thank you. I need to say it more.
Yes.
But them ride or die believers, I'm telling you,
Yes.
sometimes just talking to them, sometimes just hearing them ride or die send the greetings, it makes you feel good.
It does.
When the rider dies, don't send the greeting. You like, hey, when the last time you talked to old brother such and such, sister such and such?
Right.
Because the rider dies is like yourself. You know they going through it like you going through it.
Yes.
You know they love the messenger like you love. So you love them too.
Yes.
Just had to give that shout out.
Praise be to Allah.
Well, brothers and sisters, we don't want to prolong the time. So I leave you as I came in the Nation of Islam's greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Brothers and sisters, we rise for prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Soul Master's Day of Judgment in which we now live, the alone that we serve and the alone seek for thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path of those upon whom thou bestow thy favors, not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray after they heard thy teachings. Say he, Allah is one God. Allah is he of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, there is none like him. And I bear witness that none is earth to be served, worship or praise besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is thy true servant and last apostle. Ameen. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us not to do anything to anyone that we wouldn't have done it to ourselves and treat everybody right, even the devil. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.